everyone, welcome back to Opal&Mint. I am Ashley and I'm very excited for today's video because I get to swatch some watercolors and that always makes a fabulous day. So I recently did a surprise Jerry's Artarama haul and my husband bought me an entire set of Holbein watercolors and I am so excited. And I have, hold on, here they are. I got 48 Holbein watercolors to swatch. This might be a lengthy video, so if you're wanting to see all of these, grab a snack, grab something to drink, and we're gonna dive into these. But I did pour these into pans yesterday, so they're in pans, but probably not set. Let me grab them. They are beautiful. Look at this. Okay, here they are. Beautiful set of Holbein freshly poured paints. And so yeah, they're not set whatsoever. There's a couple that actually have some cracking in them already. Yeah, that's what we're doing today. So let's go ahead, turn the camera around and start swatching these beautiful paints. All right, so here are the 48 Holbeins. I recently got a set of drawers to put art supplies in. And I've decided that I want to start putting a lot of my pans in these. So I'll have my Daniel Smith palette and then I'm gonna have just like rows of different brands. And yes, so here is the start of that. And this is my Holbein section. So we're gonna be using the New York Central 100% cotton watercolor block. This is the giant 12 by 16. I'm using this giant page because we have a lot of watercolors to go through. So this is 140 pound. Yeah, let me see how many rows I think I can fit. I got this idea originally from Natasha Newton. I think this is gonna have to come off my wrist because it's gonna make a lot of noise. From Natasha Newton here on YouTube, she calls them pebble swatches. And so I love doing my swatches like this. So these are my stone swatches. Let me see how many rows I think I can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. Let me do some math. So today I'm going to be using my Rhapsody Round Kolinsky Sable size 8. This is a natural hair brush and I don't use this a whole lot on my channel because it is a pricey brush. And I like to use more affordable options most of the time. That way I can recommend them to you and you can buy them and not have to spend a ton of money. But in that process of me thinking about y'all, which is a good thing, but I have kind of pushed these to the side and so like even in my personal painting off camera, I haven't been using them. So I'm going to bring this out today and I'm going to use it just because I want to use it again. So this is a size 8. It is a larger one, but I normally use a filbert and a smaller brush for my stone swatches, but I wanted to give this a try. So if you have not used natural hair brushes, they are fantastic. I'm not saying that you need one, but if you're having problems with water control, these are great. Okay, so let's go ahead and start here. This first color. I've got the pans right next to me. That way I can read the names because they are in order. So this first one is Permanent Alizarin Crimson. So let's... So I have used a handful of Holbeins. There's actually one color in here that I already own. I have Shell Pink, which I love. It's a beautiful pastel pink. I really enjoy the Davies Gray that I have as well. It's gray with a nice green undertone. It's beautiful. And then I also have Leaf Green, which is in this set. So Holbein, like I said in one of my other videos, I love these swatches. Holbein is a brand that I originally thought was not as good quality. I was like, it's cheaper. It's not, I'm not saying it is a professional brand, professional paints. But for some reason in my head, I just thought that it was not going to be as good quality. And I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. I very much love the Holbein paints. Again, the ones I've used. And they have continued to capture my attention. So I am excited to try these out and see what I think of them. But again, that was permanent alizarin crimson. Next up is carmine. So I would love to know if you have tried Holbein and what your thoughts are. They are very smooth. So again, if you haven't seen me do these swatches, the point of these is for them to not be regular shapes. They're going to be irregular, like little rocks or stones. And I like to test watercolors these ways because I can see their lifting capabilities. I can see what their mass tone is. I can see how they look painting actually something instead of just a little square swatch. They end up looking like little stones on the page. So, okay, next up is quinacridone scarlet. Ooh, that's a beautiful pink. I don't know that I've had a quinacridone scarlet yet. And this is beautiful. So, on the subject of Holbein, if you don't know, it's kind of all over YouTube right now. Holbein is coming out, or it has come out with granulating colors, finally. And I say finally, like I've been waiting. I haven't been into Holbein that long, but I know that a lot of people have been waiting for them to come out with granulating colors. I use granulating paints a lot, so I'm excited to see Holbein's granulators. They are currently only available in Japan, and I did read on their Instagram that they will be coming to the US. It said it depends on, like, they're waiting on approval for US to be sold in the US. So it might be the end of the summer, it might be fall, but they should be coming this year. So as soon as I can get my hands on those, I will get them and I will swatch them for you because I'm so excited for them. Okay, this next one is vermilion hue. Now, I am not a huge fan of orange, but this one has a slightly muted tone to it, and I don't mind it. I did paint a painting that was mostly orange, and I loved it. It was the Tiger Lily painting. But in general, I don't use a lot of orange, but that one is quite pretty. Beautiful. I love it. Okay, let's see what is next. We have Scarlet Lake. Ooh, that's an interesting color too. One thing that I have liked about Holbein paints is their color selection. So I've bought single tubes up until now, and I go to Jerry's Artorama in Dallas because I can like look at all of them and pick a color that way. But I really enjoy the colors that they do offer. And like I said, they've got stuff like the shell pink that I got, and their Davies gray. They've got some beautiful muted colors and pastel colors, which I really, really like painting with that kind of color palette. So, all right, the next one is Opera, I believe. Yeah. All right, so this one is Opera, or quinacridone Opera. Let's see how. Oh yeah, that's definitely an opera opera pink right there. It looked a lot more deep in the pan, but man, that's got some beautiful vibrance. I'm assuming this one has a fugitive, since generally opera pinks are, but man, they're so much fun to paint with. I have the Daniel Smith opera pink, and I actually have a painting hanging on my wall that is just opera pink and fuchsite, and yeah, we'll see how long it lasts. It's not in direct sunlight, and I did not do anything to seal it. It is in a frame, but I'm curious to see how it lasts since it is a fugitive color. But I would mostly use this for, like, I wouldn't sell a painting that had this unless it was sealed somehow. But I would mostly use this for art that I would scan and digitize and for things like that. But oh, that's beautiful. It's got almost a little bit more purple undertone to this opera than the Daniel Smith. I don't have the Daniel Smith one in my palette anymore. Yes, I do. There it is. There's the Daniel Smith one. I just don't use it a ton. So, okay, moving on. This one I'm very excited about because I like their shell pink, and this one is called Brilliant Pink, and I want to see, this is another kind of pastel one, and I'm going to be putting the, I don't know the pigments that go into these, I haven't looked at them yet, but I will be putting that on the screen so that you do know, so that you know as I'm swatching, in case you are a pigment nerd and would like to know those things. I do know that Holbein, they do their light fast ratings a little different than some of the other paint brands. Instead of excellent or good, they say permanent or a very permanent, stuff like that. So the light fast ratings might look a little different. This is beautiful. I really love those soft colors. Okay, next up is one, I don't know how to pronounce this name. Is it Jean Brilliant? And this is number 2. This is another one that looks like it's going to be kind of pastel peachy. Yeah, that's very pretty. I can count how many I've done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I need to have 10 on a row for me to fit them all in. We'll see. Did the math and figured it out ahead of time, but then I started swatching, and I'm not going to be thinking of numbers anymore. Out the window that went. We'll see what happens. All right, there's that one. Next up, we're getting into some yellow here, and this is Naples yellow, and I actually did these get mixed up? Because that doesn't look Naples to me. That looks like lemon. It is lemon yellow. Kylie Opal switched them. I'm glad I caught that. Yeah. It's probably because I kept putting my paper into that for some reason. Okay, Naples yellow, and then lemon yellow, and then permanent yellow. Okay, we're good. Everything's good. All right, so this is Naples yellow, and I've actually never used a Naples yellow before. But man, I should. That is beautiful. It's got a little bit of creaminess to it. It's muted a little bit. I really am not a fan of like lemon yellows. They are good for mixing because they're pure and bright, and again, good for mixing things, but I just don't use my lemon that much. I use my cad, but this is quite beautiful. I like that. All right, so there's one row. Let's move down to the one I was just talking about, lemon yellow. Okay, so it's lemon yellow. Not expecting to to be in love with this one. I think the thing I don't like about lemon yellows, yes, they are bright, but they have this weird undertone of almost green, kind of, I can't think of the right word. When they're diluted down, like that lifted color is pretty, but the mass tone, I don't know. Just not my favorite. But that's okay. All right, next up is permanent yellow light. Permanent yellow light. So this would be more in line with like a cadmium yellow. Maybe a cad yellow medium. It's pretty deep. Beautiful though. These don't lift quite as much as I'm used to. There we go. I'm having to like dig in there to lift some of it. All right, next up is an orange. We have permanent yellow orange. Pretty. I love this brush. Right. Okay, next up, moving down here. This looks like yellow ochre, but no. That one's yellow ochre. This one, I should put them this way. This is Gamboge Nova. Ooh, I like this yellow. There's quite a few yellows in this set. Man, your brushes, your paper, and your paints really do make a difference. You can make great art with horrible paper and brushes and paints, but the experience of making the art is probably going to be more of a struggle and less enjoyable. And I say that because I haven't used this brush in a while, and I am really, really enjoying the application with this brush. It's so precise, and I just really, really like this brush. Okay. All right, moving on to yellow ochre. That looks very yellow ochre. Beautiful. Lift some of that and add some here. All right. Next up is greenish yellow. So this looks kind of like a green gold. Yeah. And these kind of remind me of pickles. I'm not really sure if that's weird or not, but it just looks like a pickle. I feel like you could paint a very good pickle with this color. Again, this one is called greenish yellow. Lift so you can see that color. Perfect. All right, next next up, getting a little bit more vibrant. This one is leaf green. This is the one color in here that I already own. But I haven't had it that long, so I actually haven't used it a ton yet. It's very beautiful. Okay, this next one is called Viridian Hue, and this traditionally is not a favorite green of mine. This is not a green that I would normally use without having to mix something in, because a lot of the greens I like to use are earthier because I do a lot of plants. This would be very out of place. I mean, if you're going for natural, if you're just going for bright colors, this with the hopper pink is gorgeous. But for what I'm usually paint, not my kind of go-to. Okay, next, I'm excited to try this one. This is cobalt green, and this looks like a beautiful seafoam kind of color. Like, oh, that's stunning. Yeah, I like that. That's a beautiful color, and that's one that I don't really have a similar one in my collection. Not a color I own, so I'm excited about that one. I may have something similar in my ocean paper, but okay. Moving down, this one looks vibrant. This is Emerald Green Nova. Whew, it's bright. I need to paint something bright and summery with some of these really vibrant shades. Like this with the lemon yellow and, oh, that one. And maybe an orange. Oh, something really summery. I'm actually surprised how much I like this one. I like it a lot. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. All right. And moving down one, we have, so that was Emerald Green Nova. This is Permanent Green number 1. Pretty. I like the sun got brighter. All right, next up we have Permanent Green number 2. That one's pretty. Now we're starting to get a little bit more my speed for greens. I mean, I like some of these other colors. They're just not my normal color palette. And I would mix those to make these. I might even do the same shape 2 in a row. It just kind of happened. This one is beautiful. Okay. All right, next up is olive. Where was that? Right here? Yeah, that's definitely olive. All right, so this is olive green, and yes, it is. That's pretty. It's very reminiscent of this other one up here. It's a little bit deeper. All right, the next one is Terra Verte, and I have this color name in Winsor Newton Professional, and in that one it's a very, very pale minty color. This one looks, yeah, much more pigmented, but oh, so beautiful. This might be my favorite one so far. That is so pretty. This would go very well in my brand new kitchen and bathroom. I did green in my kitchen, on my kitchen counters. I'll put a picture here because I know I've talked about it. I've talked about the renovation, but I don't know if I've actually showed y'all what I did to my house. So I'm gonna insert a picture here of my kitchen and bathroom. I'm very happy with it. The process of it was not fun, but it's so beautiful and I just love looking at it. I have fuchsite countertops, and oh, my sister said yesterday, she's like, you should paint those countertops, like do just a background, like a whole page of just the fuchsite. Like I'll again show you the countertops, but oh, they're so pretty. Okay, moving on. This is sap green. These are getting a little bit bigger. I tend to do that with some of the colors I like more as I start swatching them bigger. So the greens got a little bit wild. So there is sap green. This one's getting some blooming. I need to try and fix that before it's completely dry. How are we doing? Okay. Let's see if I can fix these blooms. Just kind of scrub them out. Some paints bloom much easier than others, and these seem to have, and sometimes it's the paper too, but these seem to be blooming a little bit easier. Where was Olive? Than some of my other favorites. Like my Daniel Smiths don't seem to bloom quite this much. I wonder what that is. I know it's a water control thing, but since some paints do it a little more easily than others, I'm wondering what in the paint will attribute to that some more. We've got a little bit of blooming here, not like a hard line like that was. This one definitely has some, but I mean, my brush was probably just a little bit too wet. This one definitely has some blooming. Well, you can't see, but way over here. But it could also be the paper is doing that. But I feel like I want to swatch this on another paper as well. Not that. So I'm going to take some of the colors that bloomed more. And again, I fully understand that it could just be the amount of water on my brush, the, oh gosh, so many things. But I want to swatch some of those that are blooming more on this other paper. I didn't want to use my really expensive paper here, but this is Saunders Weatherford, and it's quite pricey, but we are going to do this anyways. Okay, all right, so I want to take this second shade right here, and let's swatch on the Saunders. So this is the cold press. I heard so much about this paper, and I originally bought it. I thought I had cold press, and it turned out to be hot press. I'm like, why is this so smooth? So I have been testing out the cold press, finally. And I like it immensely more than the hot press. Okay, so I'm going to try to leave a little bit of water and see, we'll see how that one dries on this paper. I can see right there it might bloom there, so I want to see what the paper does different. Little side experiment there. Okay, this one is not doing so good. Let's add a little bit more color on this edge. So the last one I did was sap green. We are going to move on to a color called shadow green. And I'm very intrigued by this just by the name of the color. No idea what it's going to look like, but it sounds pretty. Oh yeah, see that right there wins my heart so much more than the vibrant colors. I like moody colors, I like earthy colors, and I love pastel colors. I like all colors, so don't get me wrong. I'm just not typically like a vibrant, bright color painter. I admire and love when other painters do it, and I love their art, but for some reason I don't gravitate to it when I'm painting myself. I hope that made sense. This one is so pretty. I love that. So if you are new here, I've mentioned this in several videos, so if you've heard me say this, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again. But I do have some new people, and I want to make sure that you understand me and where I'm coming from in doing art videos. While I'm talking about this, we're going to go on to, what are you called? This is cerulean blue. But I would not consider myself a professional artist. I am a professional photographer, but the point of my videos and my channel in general is just to spread the joy of watercolor and the healing of watercolor. I enjoy teaching techniques that I do know, and I enjoy, I'm a teacher at heart. That's kind of one of my my gifts is teaching. I enjoy it. But by no means am I saying I am the authority on this. I am professional, been doing this for 30 years or anything. No, I'm doing this because I love it, and I'm just sharing. I want to share in the journey with you of learning watercolor. So I have not mastered everything. And I welcome all advice, as long as it is said in kind words. Okay, next up is cobalt blue hue. I don't often have negative comments, and I don't mind ones that are said in a constructive manner. If you're just gonna say something like you're stupid or you're annoying or whatever, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna delete you. Why are you even here? But I do welcome feedback, as long as you're not just being mean to be mean. I hope that makes sense. I want this space to remain a positive space. And so I don't want people to go to the comments and just read a bunch of negative things. Especially since this is a sister channel and my baby sister is on a lot of the videos. If you say anything bad about her, yeah, you're gone. I gotta protect that girl. She's my baby, so we're not saying anything bad about Kylie. She's an angel. I love her. Yeah, see, it is starting to bloom on the Saunders as well. I wonder if it's because I'm using this brush that I haven't used in so long, and so my brain is used to water control with a different kind of brush. And I know I just said water control is easier with it, and normally it is, so I'm kind of wondering. But in that same thought, I want to take, I don't have my Daniel Smiths right here because I was painting in the car. Here's another tray. I know this is like sidetracked and not Holbein. I probably won't put this in here, but I want to experiment with, we're gonna take this Schmincke Galaxy Black, and I'm gonna swatch it with the same brush and in the same manner and see what happens. Because I'm curious if the Holbeins are just a little bit more prone to blooming or not. I know all paint will bloom. Okay. Back to what we are here for. Whoops. So I'm gonna let those dry and we'll see. Yeah, see, that one's already blooming. Maybe it's just this brush. I'm gonna switch brushes. Okay. We're gonna switch brushes, and I think maybe I'm using too big of a natural hair brush. I don't know. Forgive me for that little sidetrack there. All right, so the next color is Ultramarine Deep. This is one that I was very, very excited to try. Oh, and I'm curious to see if this one granulates, because a lot of ultramarines do. But the pigment that makes ultramarine is a very granulating pigment, so curious to see how it dries. Okay, by the way, the brush I am using now is Princeton Aqua Elite size 6, long round. I can't find the size 6 on Amazon. They have the size 8, so I always link that one. But the long round is just, comes to a really long, skinny, fine point. So I like it. Okay. Curious to see if we see a difference. So, see, this brush isn't putting as much water down because natural hairs do hold more water, but usually it also doesn't release all that much water at once. Anywho, moving on. It does kind of look like it's granulating. We'll see how it dries. Next up is Prussian Blue. This is usually a favorite of mine. I like Prussian Blue. It gets really nice and deep. Such a beautiful color. So it does look, now that these other swatches are drying, like it did bloom less on this paper. The Schmincke is blooming quite a bit. The Daniel Smith doesn't appear to be blooming too much. I just don't normally have problems with blooming, so I'm just having an off day. Okay, the next one is Indigo. This one's an even deeper, richer blue. Oh yeah, that is stunning. Beautiful. It looks like Cerulean Blue has granulated quite is Indigo. This one I don't know how to say. Again, it'll be on the screen, but it looks like vertiture. And that sounds and reminds me of something said in a Friends episode, and it cracks me up, but I don't actually know how to say this one, so if you do, let me know in the comments. I feel like my swatches are getting smaller, which is weird because I like the blues. This is a beautiful blue. It's like a sky blue, but a little bit muted, like a beautiful. That turned into an interesting shape now, didn't it? Okay. Next up is Peacock Blue. I think this one is one that I was probably most excited to see. And that is so beautiful. I think when I finish swatching these, I'm going to tell you which ones my favorite are by color. Which colors are my favorites? This one is definitely among them. That is just so pretty. Okay. Ooh. Next up is called Bright Rose. That is stunning. I wonder what the light fastness rating of this one is. Again, you will see this on the screen, but if it's more light fast than the Opera, I would use this one because it's still vibrant. It's got a little bit more of a purple, even more purple undertone. We'll see how it looks when it's dry, but this is gorgeous. Beautiful. Okay. Next up is Quinacridone Magenta. Gorgeous. I like Quinacridone Rose Magenta. Generally, I like that kind of color. Ooh. Whoops, I am, again, not paying attention to anything but swatching. This is bothering me. All right, next up, looks like we're moving into some browns. Oh no, this one's Mineral Violet. It's just really deep in the pan. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, I like that color. These two colors actually look like what my photography business colors are. Lavish Grace Photography. These are the colors in my logo. This might be a little bit deeper of a purple, but it's definitely got the bluish undertone. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit deeper. Beautiful. Yeah, that cerulean has granulated some, and that's pretty. All right, next up is Quinacridone Violet. And this is always a fun color. Beautiful. Good. We are getting closer to the end. Got one more row of tubes. So 3/4 of the way done. If you are still with us during this swatch, let me know in the comments below by telling me which is your favorite color that we have swatched. Okay. All right. moving along, we have, now we're getting into the browns. No, we're not. I lied again. This is another purple. This is Permanent Violet. It's so funny that they look brown in the pan. This is another good reason for you to swatch your paints out before you use them. They look so much different in the pan a lot of times than they do on the paper. All right, now we're gonna get into some browns. This next one is Burnt Sienna. Okay, next is Raw Umber. This one was a thicker paint when it came out of the tube. If you want to see me putting these paints into the tubes, pouring these paints into these tubes, I did a little reel over on Instagram. You know what? I should probably upload that as a short here as well. Because I ended up like kind of playing around and trying to fill the pans without touching the pan. And if you squirt it into the right part of the pan at the right direction, it will spin the pan for you and fill it up in a circle. And I had quite a bit of fun playing with that. So if you haven't checked out my Instagram, I will link that in the description, but I might see if I remember to post that on YouTube as well. I'll try. I'm scatterbrained sometimes, so. All right, we've got a few more. Next up is Sepia. Very excited to start actually painting with these too. If you want to see me paint something with the Holbeins, let me know what, and I can definitely film that because I'm going to be playing with these, and I can film painting with these as well. I always love getting some good swatches before I start painting with a new paint though. Okay, beautiful. All right, next up is Yellow Gray. Really? It doesn't look like Yellow Gray. I feel like that's not Yellow Gray. Oh no, you stay. That one's Sepia. Oh, darn it. Okay, that's Sepia. I got mixed up here. Sorry, guys. I will have written it correctly on the screen now. So we have Burnt Sienna, we have Raw Umber, we have Burnt Umber. I'm sorry, that was Burnt Umber. Forgive me. This next one is Sepia. I thought it didn't look quite sepia-ish. That makes more sense. Thought it was a little too rusty. All those browns in a row. I just skipped one. Okay. Next up is yellow gray, which I haven't had a color named that before, so let's see what this one looks like. It looks kind of khaki, which kind of makes a yellow gray. It looks a little khaki. Almost like a greenish khaki though. Not quite green, but like the very tiny bit of green in there. Yeah. Interesting name. Okay. Oops. All right, next up is Gray of Gray. So this is like the grayest gray. This is a beautiful pale gray. A lot of times when I use gray, I just mix a thinner black, but this is going to be a more opaque option. And I think it's beautiful. Gray of Gray. I like it. I could see this being mixed into colors as well. Whoops, sorry guys. Be a really good color to mix into other ones. Okay, we are getting into a metallic. I'm excited to see what the Holbein metallics look like. This one is called Silver, and it looks like a liquid silver paste. Like it's, let's see, let's give it a whirl. These normally take a little bit more to reactivate, but this one's not set, so it shouldn't have that problem. Once they dry, they normally look a lot shinier too. While they're still wet, a lot of metallics aren't as impressive until they're dry. So we will let this dry and then like turn the page sideways and see how much shine comes off of it. Because when it's wet, you're seeing the shine of the water too, so we'll see what that looks like dry. Okay, next up is Ivory Black. We have 4 more. It's so pretty. All right. There's Ivory Black. All right, and then we have Chinese White, which isn't going to, show up on white paper really, so there's Chinese White. This next one is Gold. I have used quite a bit of gold metallic watercolors. I did a Princess Castle. I don't know if I can say that word, Disney, but I did a Princess Castle nursery. I guess she's not nursery. Kids' bedroom print for a friend of mine, and it had gold accents on the castle, and so it was large. So I used a lot of gold metallic. So let's see what that one looks like once it's dry. And the last color is Payne's Gray. Ooh, that is a smooth, beautiful Payne's Gray. I like this one. Okay, so that one's gonna go in my top now. I like it. I like how deep it gets too. Beautiful. So there are the swatches of the set of 48 Holbein colors. Let's talk about my favorites, purely based on the swatches. Okay, so I really like the Payne's Gray a lot. if I had to, okay, we're gonna do this. If I had to pick 5 of these paints, we're gonna do that. I actually would pick Shell Pink, which I already have, and Davies Gray, but we're gonna talk about these. 5 of these. I would definitely have that Payne's Gray. That's beautiful. I really like the Ultramarine. I like the Cerulean though. It granulates quite a bit. So that's a beautiful one. I love this one. What are you? Let's see. This was Olive. So that is, oh, Terra Verde. That is the one. That is the one I said. Okay. So Payne's Gray, Terra Verde. Can you tell I have a muted preference? Cerulean. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. I need to pick 2 more. I really like this yellow. Is that Naples? That is Naples yellow. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And my 5th favorite of these, I'm trying to think of not a cohesive palette, because obviously I would need like a magenta to make a cohesive palette. But this is just purely colors that I like from this brand based on this. I like the gray. I really like the gray. Some of these are sticking out to me, but I think I'm gonna go with the gray. So I'm gonna swatch these all side by side so you can see my picks. But we have Payne's Gray, Gray of Gray, Terra Verde, Cerulean, and Naples. Let me swatch those out real quick. All right, so there are my top 5 picks from this selection of Holbein colors. I hope that you enjoyed this. I had several people wanting to see the swatches of the Holbeins, and they did not disappoint. I definitely have colors in here that I like better than others, and it does look like the, let me put this back here. It does look like the blooming problem kind of dissipated as I changed brushes, so it probably just had too much water coming out of that brush. I don't remember where I switched over, but yeah, I don't see a ton of blooming, even though there was more water here. They seem to be pretty good. All right, so my memory card got completely full. I had to put a new one in. So I'm going to wrap this video up because it's going to be quite long and I'm going to have to edit quite a bit. But that is it for this video. If you did enjoy this, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out. And if you haven't already and you want to see our future videos, hit that subscribe button down below and we'll see you guys next time. Bye. If you see if I can have this and this in frame. Is that possible?